We actually met two women at the start of this year, both of them expecting, and we witnessed some of the most vulnerable moments of their lives, much of it captured through intimate home videos. Through the joys of preparing for a newborn to the sobering realities of labor pains, their stories offer a glimpse into what it's like in the U.S. being pregnant and Black. This is the story of two pregnant Black women in 2023. Kanaya King in St. Louis, Missouri, and April Valentine in Inglewood, California. Their stories end very differently.
I have a baby, and she's so cute.
We all sat there, hopeless and helpless.
And I said, what happened?
How did you and April meet?
I seen her, and it's like she lit up the room. She just came over there and told me, she was like, "You're gonna be my protector." And
She said that to you the first time you met.
yeah, the first time.
At 31 years old, April is pregnant with her first child. Nija is her partner and the father. He and one of April's older sisters, Keisha, will be in the room when she gives birth.
When she told me she wanted me to be in the room, you'd have to kind of know mine and April's relationship was like, I don't want to see
All that?
all of that. I'll just say all of that, right?
April met Stannis Askew, her doula, at 19 weeks. Birthing doulas are trained non-clinical professionals who support clients through pregnancy, labor, delivery, and postpartum. April's birthing plan. Walk me through that.
Birthing plan is to have a natural birth. She doesn't have any risk factors. She understands the statistics. Black women in pregnancy and birth being 3 to 4 times more likely than a white counterpart to have complications in a birthing situation.
Stannis says the doctor, Gwen Allen, asked for her credentials and was on board.
You have some that are doula friendly, you have some that are not doula friendly.
And April's doctor is?
Yes. Claims to be, yes.
Robin Lloyd is Kanaya King's doula. 20 years ago, she had her own traumatic birthing experience.
The bed is saturated with blood. I'm completely covered.
So you were undergoing this traumatic experience where you're bleeding out and no one has told you what's happening.
No one has told me. Kanaya, this is our baby.
The scare led Robin to train to be a doula. She now works with a nonprofit where all of the doulas are women of color.
We sat down and we talked about, what she wanted to have in her birthing space. She said, Miss Robin, I just want you and me there.
The 23-year-old's pregnancy is high risk. She's nervous.
With my first two, I had a lot of complications.
But you were having a bunch of pressure though, right?
Usually you don't get ultrasounds every time you go to the hospital. I get an ultrasound every week, and sometimes 2 times a week.
Kanaya spends a lot of time with her doula, Robin, who also facilitates group classes. Tonight's gathering focusing on self-care for expecting moms.
I need help. I'm working on asking for it. I'm getting better at asking for it.
Kanaya's first child was born at 28 weeks and spent months in a neonatal intensive care unit. So this time, she's decided to get a cerclage. It involves placing stitches on the cervix to prevent it from opening too soon, which can result in a premature birth.
It's really important that if you're having any of these signs, we need to make sure that you call the doctor, then you call me.
Robin was Kanaya's doula for the birth of her first daughter, Alea. In labor, Kanaya got an infection and was hospitalized.
And I looked at Miss Robin, and she blatantly asked me, she was like, do you want your baby? I said, yeah. And she's like, okay, we're gonna have a baby.
What are you feeling?
Yeah.
What are you feeling?
I'm very grateful for her. I'm very grateful for her. Because if she wasn't there, I don't know what would have happened with me or Elea.
And do you think you would be here and your kids would be here if you hadn't had a doula?
Not at all, no. Not at all.
It's Friday, January 6th. April reaches out to her doula, Stannis, for advice following a doctor's appointment.
She called me to say the doctor wanted to do induction. My first question to her is, why? Is your blood pressure up? She's like, no, everything is good.
By Monday, April is at 3 centimeters, and the family says Dr. Gwen Allen wants her to go to the hospital. There, April's sister, Keisha, grows concerned.
It looked run down. The walls were yellowing, and honestly, had kind of a weird smell.
It was just the beginning of their troubles at Centinela Hospital Medical Center's labor and delivery ward.
She calls and she says, they're not going to let you in.
Had that happened to you before as a doula?
No.
That's the whole reason she had picked that doctor, because the doctor black and she accepted doulas to be in the room.
Nyjah and Keisha stay beside April, who is now in pain, and they say despite multiple requests to nurses, Dr. Allen does not arrive or take their calls.
And she says, well, the doctor will cuss us out because she doesn't like us to call her over complaints like this.
About how many times do you think you all asked for the doctor?
More than 10. More than 10. More than 10 times.
Because Stannis is not allowed in the hospital, she supports April over video calls and text.
Ask why she had you come to the hospital.
Early Tuesday morning, April's pain is getting worse. Nyjah and Stannis say she gets an epidural.
April starts saying, I think my leg is swollen up. We go tell the nurse to come and check it out. The nurse says, oh no, that's normal.
She starts texting me. I don't know why they had me come here this early.
The family says Dr. Gwen Allen doesn't arrive until late Tuesday afternoon, nearly a day since April was admitted.
The doctor came in finally at like 4:30. When the doctor came in at 4:30, I was like, look what the wind done blew in. She just immediately didn't tell April what she was doing or nothing. Spread her legs, shoved her hand in there, snatched her fingers out. And water and stuff just started gushing out of April. I'm like, what you just do? She's like, oh, I just bust her water.
Dr. Allen leaves the room and doesn't return, according to the family. They say April continues to throw up and complain of pain. The nurse suggests pressing the epidural button for pain management.
After she did that, April started throwing up more. I'm coughing, I'm choking, but then it cuts off. It's like, right? And Nigel starts screaming. April, 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 April. He starts screaming out, she's not breathing. The nurse is frozen in place.
Nyjah starts CPR on April. Still, the family says no Dr. Allen. They say a nurse rushes in to give April an oxygen mask.
Her eyes got real watery and the tears just started coming down and they rolled to the back of her head. And she just hit the bed. And her body just went limp.
And he's saying, save my baby, save my girl. He's saying both of them, save my baby, save my girl.
Dr. Allen finally come in, she like, what's going on, what happened?
Kanaya is due in a week and a half, but she and her doula, Robin, are at the hospital today.
We were concerned that her baby wasn't moving as he should be.
Kanaya's cervical stitches, the cerclage, are removed, so labor should be imminent. But she's not progressing, so doctors induce her.
And at this point, she hadn't had any, pain management because she was wanting to labor without an epidural.
But her labor continues for 14 hours. Kanaya reluctantly decides to get an epidural due to the severity of pain. There are no other complications, and on June 25th, 2023, Isaiah is born.
You seem to love being a mom.
Yes, I really do. I really do. I think God put you on this earth to do something. I think being a mom is my something.
Her third time around, Kanaya says her delivery experience was good, but it wasn't always this way.
I've noticed that with having babies, the doctors don't care what will happen to you as a Black woman. They weren't talking to me. They were talking amongst themselves, like I wasn't in the room and I was the one giving birth. I was just an object, it seemed like.
What do you think made the difference?
Miss Robin, actually, my doula, with her advocating for me and her talking to my doctors. Having someone advocate for you when you're in that time where you cannot advocate for yourself means a lot. And I think every Black woman should have that.
It's been almost a full day since April was admitted to the hospital. Her doula, Stannis, is home and desperate for an update.
Radio silence. I'm like, hey, what's going on? Nothing. 3 o'clock, just checking in, nothing. 6 o'clock, I'm like, what is happening? And then her phone goes to silent. 11 o'clock p.m., my phone rings. April's phone's calling me. I'm like, April. And it's her sister. She says, no, Stannis, it's Keisha. And I said, what happened? She said, she didn't make it. April died. Initially, I thought, I don't want to do this. And then I thought,
You wanted to stop being
I
a
wanted
doula.
to stop being a doula. And then I thought, nope. I will do things to honor her. So
I hear the
she,
emotion in your voice.
yeah.
I had to kind of let go of this guilt, like I was there. And she wanted me there to protect her and to speak up for her. And sometimes I question, whether or not I did a good job at it.
You were present for her.
I was.
The LA County coroner ruled April's cause of death on January 10, 2023, a blood clot that likely traveled from her leg to her lung. The attorney for Valentine's attending physician, Dr. Gwen Allen, telling NBC News, Dr. Allen is prohibited by federal law from publicly commenting about her treatment of Miss Valentine. Dr. Allen, the attorney says, did not cause Miss Valentine's death. We reached out to the doctor multiple times for an interview, but the request was denied.
We will not give up!
The family has protested at Centinela regularly since April's passing, even filing a complaint with the LA County Board of Supervisors. In September, change came. Centinela Medical Center announcing it would shut down its labor and delivery ward, citing an exponential decrease in demand. The day of its closing marked by a vigil.
When people heard that they were closing down the hospital, some people were like, yeah. I was like, no, my sister would have never wanted that.
Why?
Because now where do you go have your baby? If you live in Inglewood, I think she would like for women to know that they have a choice. Because April at some point felt like she didn't have a choice.
Today, Anaya, Nija and April's daughter, is home in Inglewood. Anaya was delivered via crash C-section and lives with complications from the birth. Keisha and Stannis believe Anaya would not have made it had Nija not insisted she be saved.
How often do you come here?
I come Monday through Friday every morning. I have to stop by her because a piece of me still here.
I'm reminded that the first time you met April, you said you would be her protector.
Yes, ma'am. And I guess to this day, I'm going to hold up like I made a promise. I'm going to keep it.
It's very difficult. Very difficult. So, obviously not just protesting, there is a lawsuit. What's the status of that?
Yeah, it is difficult, and the family has chosen to take legal action, Chuck. April's partner, Nija, actually filed a civil lawsuit against Centinela, the hospital, its staff, and Dr. Allen. Dr. Allen's attorneys say, in part, that she denies each, every, and all of the allegations contained in the complaint, adding it was the plaintiff's own negligence that caused the accident and any injury sustained. Now, the attorneys for Centinela Hospital say all treatment was with the express and implied consent of April, and that she was aware of and accepted the risk. risks. The hospital, meanwhile, says the damages allegedly sustained were caused by forces which were beyond the control of the hospital and the individuals named in that complaint, Chuck.
All right, they can say all that, but has there been an investigation?
Yeah, so the family filed a complaint with the LA County Board of Supervisors, and they investigated and cited many of the anecdotes that you heard from the family in that.
Obviously, shutting down Centinela, that isn't what anybody wanted. They wanted better care.
Yeah.
So, but now we have no care.
Absolutely.
I mean, that seems like we're taking a step backwards here.
And my eyebrows went up, right, when April's sister, Keisha, said that to me. This is not a win. This is not what April would have wanted.
But I get that.
Yeah, because the community of Inglewood, California, Chuck, is about 15% persons in poverty and around 41% people of color. Right now, that means all of those people just lost access to a key health care resource.
And we focused here, and we're in Inglewood, California, but this is, and we're going to discuss it later in this program, this is a huge issue in rural America, isn't it?
Absolutely. There are maternity care deserts, not just in cities like Inglewood, but around the country. And the concern is simply closing hospitals like this means people have less and less access. And it's dangerous when you're in a vulnerable position like giving birth, like going into labor.
And it seems as if you really have to, if you don't have a rural hospital, you need to find a midwife or a doula.
Yeah, it's interesting that the popularity of doulas has increased. Now, data does show the presence of a doula improves health outcomes for women. So there are clear benefits. Of course, there's still conversations going on about, is health care going to cover the cost of a doula? It's not always free for these women.
Not every state will cover it.
Right. So there's still a lot of work to be done to make sure a lot of people have access to what's been a key resource.
Tough story to do, but thank you for doing it. It's important to get it out.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.